It's time to get serious. Welcome to the eulogy of Michael Stanislaus Pera. I'm Benjamin Pera. I'll be the guide as I walk you through this eccentric, and let's be quite frank, odd man. Oh yeah, he was a kook. Let's see if we can't expose the essence of what he was all about. I think that went pretty well, don't you? Perfect. No, I'm going to have to do that. Examine this eccentric and let's be... I was nailing it then. Over here, Max. Over here. Don't want you behind me.
Okay,
Stop. Sit. Oh, I think that went pretty well, don't you? It went vertical.
I know, I can't.
Not meant to. Just turn it like that.
Okay. Wait, what type of face? It's like...
Just, yeah, perfect. Michael Pera, my dad, was born in 1933. The year his blood splattered South Melbourne won the flag. He had to wait 72 years to see another one. He was born in, this can't be right. Ellie. It says St Kilda, that he was born in St Kilda. He told me a stone's throw from Lakeside Oval. What are you saying? He's lying. Let's start again. Dad was a spiritual man. He always wanted to be a priest. In fact, he told... Paula? Yeah? He told you he had a vision for Jesus. What? Really? That he had a crisis of faith. Why would he talk to you about that? What? He was in a tip. Huh? He asked for a sign. What? A motorbike carburetor moved. That was a sign. Come on. A vision from Jesus? Okay, let's do it again. That doesn't fit. We have a perception of our fathers when we are young. We have a perception about our fathers when we are young. You adore him. He loves you. He can do no wrong. As we grow older and enter teenage years and beyond, fighting the shackles of more independence, you see your father's stories are missed for the reality. He had some adventures, but unlike me, my father wasn't cool. I look handsome, I look smart, I am a walking... What? The aches and noises that beset Dad with his every movement as he got older were unique. He didn't wear underwear. I'm a trendsetter. Dad wasn't. I feel the need for speed. Suffice it to say, he was unique. It's time to get real. Come in a little closer. Not that close. A little bit further, yeah. It's time to get real. Come in a little closer. Churchill, the crucible here my life was formed, was framed by the adventurous and lateral thinking of Dad and the soul, care and compassion of Mum. These two unlikely hammers were beaten against the anvil of the Latrobe Valley during a period where the SEC privatised and the labour force suffered hardship and detachment from purpose. Mum from Lithgow, where the family worked coal mines and were organised in the labour rights movement, learnt community spirit and power of that unity. Her dear care of others drove her vision to become a nun. Dad, born upper middle class, silver spoon in his mouth, adventuring and roving all over Australia and debating in the banks of the Yarra with the laity, the interpretation on soapboxes, had no thought except the priesthood. The best laid plans of mice and men, hey? Dad and Mum didn't stay married to God. When they met, there was a sound of thunder in the world. They were in love, but wouldn't be married in secret. Dad had to be married in a church. He believed in Jesus and would be married in a church. He fought the hierarchy and received special dispensation from the Vatican. as an ex-priest to be married in the Catholic Church of St Bede's Church in Piermont, Sydney in 1969. There was a media scrum, filming, photographing, reporting on this Australian first that created huge debate throughout Australia's Christian community. I went on a journey with Dad that was a journey not only of sight and sound, but of mind, and to the twilight zone of India in the late 80s. It was a journey I had my first great epiphany, and where Mum would often ask, "What did happen in India, Benji? Will you tell me?" I didn't. It wasn't for others, it was for us, and I'm not sure I quite understand it now. Let me tell you the story of our Christmas Day celebrations in the snow with a group of foreigners I'd been skiing with. That was a few kilometres from where our lodgings were. I was 17 and a fellow Aussie gave me some sips of glava, a sweet liqueur, which I quite enjoyed. I'd rarely had alcohol before then and became quite inebriated. I learnt later that when this happens, I get my homing beacons on. I'm sure some of you can attest to that. So out I went in jeans and a t-shirt to head back to our rooms. The road wound around a big expanse of snow, and in my state I thought I could save time by cutting across a field. Wading through waist-high snow was a slog, and halfway across I realised this wasn't an easier route. I got tired and rested for a bit, and falling asleep face down in the snow. I was lost and moving on. Dad had sent out a rescue party and found me in the snow. He dragged me up and tried to warm me, but my arms were frozen solid with ice to my chest. I was in a bad way, and Dad carried me fireman style back to the hut. Stripping me naked in front of a crowd, he followed suit and put me under a sleeping bag and jumped in after me to rub warmth into my body. There's no doubt he saved my life that time, as my fingers were black and ached for years afterwards. But his thoughts were with me when I was gone, and he didn't give a hoot for convention when it came to looking after me, literally stripping us bare for all to see. In the end, our relationship was poor. But when I reflect back on the body of work of his life and what family meant to him, I can see that what family and humanity meant was a great deal, that I wasn't a more central figure to him because of all his cares and concerns is perhaps a moot point. He did love me, and I did love him. When I was 11, my dad took me to the Astoria Theatre in Melbourne to watch Blade Runner. I didn't want to see it. It was based on a book called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's now my favourite movie. Anyway, at the end, Rutger Hauer says his death soliloquy. And at this moment, I think of my dad and all these things he saw. So he's seen things that people wouldn't believe. Been amongst the throng of millions of Christian peace protesters in Da Nang during the Vietnam War. He skirted the 8 million protesters in the final days of the Shah in Tehran with their scent of the Ayatollah Khomeini, rushing for the last plane out with a bag full of US dollars. 8 years at Corpus Christi College, Werribee Mansion, in the seminary training to become a warrior of God. Visions of Jesus in the junkyard. Watched sunbeams sat atop the Great Pyramid of Giza. Debated as part of the Second Vatican in Rome. Was a Vatican courier sent on several missions. You say the word out of Win TV, Wollongong. Now you say the word. The 10 days hiking to recover a mate's body who died of hypothermia in the Tassie Highlands. All those stories and adventurers, colouring the loud fence, giving testimony for inquiries for the innocent. The efforts in education in the US, India, Australia's First Nations people, Zimbabwe, Iran, Cambodia. A lot of books, all these moments. They'll be gone forever. See you later, Dad. Or, as the CC guys like to say, come tea be beer, Dad, which I believe means let us drink, or when you drink, think of me. I think that's appropriate when it comes to Dad.